Welcome to the Knock Your Socks Off podcast. My name is Hannah, joined by...
I'm Ravi.
And Ravi, what are you knocking my socks off with today?
Winter has fallen on America.
While it's sunny here. Carry on.
While it's sunny here in California, the rest of the country is experiencing some...
Actual weather.
Okay. There's I believe, a cyclone bomb river thing dropping on the northwest.
Sure.
I saw recently Chicago was blistered or battled
New York
snow.
and D.C. are getting some snow.
New York and D.C. are getting snow. So I want to blow your socks off with this thing the rest of us in America know as winter.
As weather.
Okay. Seasons. Have you ever heard of seasons? Being from California?
Winter, spring, summer, or fall.
Don't know what that was.
Gilmore Girls. All you have to do is call. You don't know that song at all?
Not even slightly. I never watched Why would I watch Gilmore Girls?
Because you were fucking girls. I don't know.
In order to understand them, you must watch Gilmore Girls.
But literally, that was not even like an entry, like Netflix and chill vibe.
No.
Never.
No.
Anyway.
When did Gilmore Girls come out for you? Like in middle school?
Yeah, and I watched it like live coming out, but then it's like on Netflix now, and then they did like Netflix like Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, and it was like 15 years after the movie.
Oh, like a reunion type thing?
Yeah, like a reboot, but like reunion vibe.
No.
But no.
Anyway,
all right, carry on.
Anyway, so basically the point of today is to make you realize how lucky you had it. Growing up on the West Coast.
To shame me. You're just to shame.
Basically, I want to let you know the suffering that people do.
Yes.
And how privileged
California
I am
kids.
to have left the East Coast.
Also fair.
One of the big deciding factors for me leaving the East Coast was winter. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Fair. I don't ever want to live in that. So I at least know my boundaries from the jump.
Wow. Well, I did it.
Well, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, so I didn't have a choice in the matter. No, the first thing I want to ask you about winter was when was the first time you saw snow?
First time I saw snow? I mean, like we
2 years ago?
Yeah, I was just a wee 30-year-old.
Or your 20s when you went to New York, maybe?
No. I mean, like, so the thing as a California kid is unless you like live, like there is some pockets of places you can live in California and have snow, but like I guess like I don't know the first time I saw snow. Like I'm sure I was like small enough to where it's not like, that's not a pivotal memory. But when I was in 5th grade, I grew up in Northern California. And in 5th grade, it snowed for the first time, like not ever probably, but like in our little mind, generation. And we got to like go outside. It wasn't like by no means there's no snow days. There was no, but we got to go outside and like make like a fake recess while it was currently snowing, which it was like basically really cold rain that like did kind of collect, but like melted within like an hour or something. But it was so fun and it was so cool. So that would be like in a sense maybe my first like there was snow in my hometown.
Sure.
But like otherwise as a kid you go to the snow. Like that was always our phrase, is if you're going to the snow.
Yeah, like Tahoe.
So we would go to Tahoe.
Right.
Yeah. We would go
like,
have a snow day.
Did you ski and stuff?
I skied once. So do you want my ski story?
No.
Oh. All right,
sure, go ahead. Let's hear your ski story.
No, I've only been skiing once. I think I was like 12 maybe.
Well, we're to interrupt obviously, but what's scary about that, you saying I only skied once growing up in California. Like I primarily grew up in the Northeast. Yeah. Where all there was to do during winter would be ski or snowboard.
Like people had like resort passes and stuff.
I never went once. I've never skied or snowboarded
in your entire life?
in my entire life.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was right there. Like New England has some of the best mountains and resorts and things. And
to like go do it.
Yeah, and I just never did it.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I beat you then, so I've been once.
Yeah, I guess you're a real New Hampshire.
I'm a real American who's been surfing and snowboarding because
I haven't done either.
I'm not sure. I've never done snowboarding, but I've skied.
Yeah, skied and snowboarded.
But again, I've attempted to ski, so let me wrap this up.
Yes.
Quickly, in some fashion. So I go skiing at like 11 or 12, and I can't ski, so my parents like put my brother and I in ski lessons or something, which is like you go on the little bunny slopes or whatever. My brother and I are both like relatively athletic, so we pick it up enough, but I'm way more scared than my brother is. So my brother kind of starts to follow my dad on the ski slopes and like kind of goes and does like his little thing, like on like a bit more advanced slopes than what I was doing, because I was like, I've learned it now, and like I can like, pizza slice my way down the thing, but like I'm not gonna do anything crazy. But so I like stay on the beginner bunny slope, like very green slope hills anyway. Okay. So my parents like leave me alone most of the day because they're going and skiing and they're doing their own thing, right? But a couple times they like join me on my little tiny slopes. And so one time, so the whole thing, so have you ever been like in the summers, like to a ski resort and like seen a ski slope, kind of like in like a
how it looks under the snow.
Okay, so we are going up the ski lift and like I get on the ski lift fine, and so usually it was like just 2 people on the ski lift, but this time I was with my parents, and so like I was like in the middle, so it was like 3 of us on the ski lift, and as I taught myself for the one day that I skied was that like when pushing off of the ski lift to like get down the little hill to like start your little ski adventure moment down the slope is you had to like push yourself off. Sure. Ideally you push with your leg strength. Okay. I, as a kid was also like I needed any strength and like boost I could. So like what I had told myself before sitting with my parents in this 3-person one was that I would push off like one of the sides. Like I would use my leg force obviously, but also kind of like push off the.
Wait, you told your parents
handle.
this was
no.
Oh, okay.
This is just all this is all prologue. Yeah. Before I'm now on this like 3-person one. So what I go to do is I go to push off their thighs, kind of like I go to push off their thighs, and my parents being my parents both push my hand off of each other. Of me, or what am I trying to say? Push my hands off of their legs. Like, no, Hannah, you can't use us to get up. Like, we all have to get up and go do this thing. And so then I get stunned, or like not like shocked, but like like just like emotionally like, and then afraid of what to do, and I can't. And then my leg muscles leave me or something, and then I just stay on the ski lift, and it starts to turn while my parents have gone off the ski lift. And they had to stop the whole thing and get this crazy ladder and like take my skis off like while I'm midair, like on the going down, like about to go the opposite way of the ski lift, which you don't go. No one stays on the ski lift all the way around.
Oh,
everybody, because it's going to slope down.
Stop. Yeah, because I was wondering like why just ride it again? But I see
you can't. It's for like safety. It's just like maybe a bar in front of you. Like you're not like it's not like a roller coaster where you're like strapped in. Like you're just like seated there, kind of trusting the whole system. And so lo and behold, they had to do that, and I think I rode again at pizza. Once I got down and put my skis back on, was pissed off at my parents. Pissed off. It's still a story we tell to this day. Like, embarrassed. My parents were embarrassed. I was mad. I was like embarrassed. They told me I was like a bad skier. All these things, right? Because they're like, you didn't do it right. And I was like, ugh. And so then I just go back and I drink hot chocolate the rest of the day, and then I've never skied since.
That's totally understandable. Like I mean, that is pretty intense.
It was relatively
being embarrassed, especially like you're shutting down an entire ski lift.
Literally, exactly. So only the beginner one. So there's a bunch of people on this one. Like it's not like the most intense one.
Did you know anyone from school? Because that would be the worst.
Luckily there's no memory of me and I didn't have to retell the story until I was comfortable to tell it. You know? I didn't go back to school and be like, you guys, you wouldn't believe what my parents did. Want to hear my embarrassing story?
That's wild. Yeah.
I know. So anyway, I have been skiing, but once.
My closest ski story would be, so in middle school especially, part of like the various clubs, there's like ski snowboard club, and you pay a monthly during the winter months or whatever, and you would go up after school or with weekends people. With people. Yeah. And like I asked my parents, like, could I do it? And my parents were like, basically, they were like, you are aware you're going down a hill.
Oh, no.
And they were like, and you have a fear of heights.
Oh, this is true. Yeah. So you've had a fear of heights your whole life.
As soon as I realized I was tall, every morning I wake up and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, I wish I was like you short people. Life would be easier.
It would be so much lower to the ground. Yeah. Damn.
No, but they made me realize, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not for me. So
sad.
Essentially, they talked me out of it, and I don't know if I regret it. If I really regret it, I would have gone skiing at some point.
You totally would have.
And I haven't. So I don't think there's a desire.
Sure.
Ever. I like the idea of going to a cabin in the woods.
Well, have you ever been to even like a snow resort?
Yes. I've been to
like the fancy ones where you like can sip and watch people and
I guess I have
a little, and the big fireplace, like they use like indoor fireplaces or like
I don't
very
know if it was
vibey
a ski resort.
Fancy people in furs.
It was just like a
that's what I picture. Like
it was like a hotel in the mountains, but it wasn't specific to like skiing. Like you could do skiing, but it wasn't
but it wasn't a ski resort.
Yeah, it wasn't like you go to this hotel.
But it was like a snow one. But it was like for sure in the mountains, meant to be like this is a cozy spot to like.
And
which that's fancy. That's fun.
That was fun.
Yeah,
but.
Not ski.
Not skiing.
But was snow.
It was snow, yeah.
So you like snow.
You're
okay. Okay, sorry, keep going. You're telling
I was going to say, well, that gets me...
I literally do have like so many questions about growing up in the snow.
That's fine. No, that gets me to the point of the idea of snow. Sure. So like your memories of snow are these like magical...
Maybe 2 days. Yeah.
These magical things.
Totally magical.
They're fun, yeah. as a hardened New Englander,
Yes.
you know, you can ask any of the New Englanders out there, like, you know, when winter comes, we love it for the first snowfall, and then we fucking hate it.
But what about getting out of school? Was that fun?
Getting out of school happened very rarely, and as the years went on, and the schools realized, like, honestly, I think it was the teachers that complained the most. Is you know, you just because you have a snow day, that day still has to be made up, and that pushes us into summer. And I don't know if you've ever been to New England summers. It's humid as fuck.
Everybody's done.
Everybody's done.
New England sounds tough.
It is tough. Like, it's very extreme with their weather. It's like everyone's like, oh, New England's beautiful with the foliage or foliage, whatever it's called. Foliage.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, it's beautiful for maybe 2 weeks, and then it's shit.
Right. It's nice to vacation or go on a trip too.
Yeah, like snow is
different.
Once it starts snowing, the snow is there. It just doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there, and it gets disgusting with all the salt and chemicals that they use to break it down. So it's gross ass snow, and there's dirt everywhere, and it's just nasty.
Magical.
It's not magical.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting.
And then you have to work in it. Like you have to work in it. I'm sure. Were you and your brothers like the people who like, or did your parents make you guys go shovel it and stuff?
What do you think?
Yes.
There you go. You're correct. Parents,
and it's like that's not unique to your parents. I just imagine parents.
I feel growing up that was unique to my parents.
Other parents didn't make their kids do it.
Okay, so like the area that we lived in,
like that'd be like a classic.
We had driveways, right? Like big driveways.
Oh, sure, okay.
And in our particular house, we had to share a driveway with our neighbor. Right.
Oh, okay.
And our neighbor, like, it was this older married couple. They didn't have kids.
Okay.
And like they were nice people, right?
Sure.
I think his name was Dan.
Oh, love it.
Which is funny because that's my dad's white name, as we say.
100%.
But I believe his name was Dan. He's this nice guy. Yeah. He was like a food inspector. Yeah, like so he went around and like you make sure
food.
Well, no,
or like factory.
No, like he would check restaurants. It's food inspector.
Oh,
right?
like a food critic, but not critic.
No critic.
Anyway.
Like he worked for the state.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So what was cool though was like he would get
nightmares like in real life.
he would get like I called it like payoffs. Like he would come back sometimes home with like
food,
with fresh like fish and things, and like you know he would give it to us because like it was a lot. So they were very nice neighbors. Like you imagine 3 boys, rowdy as fuck, blowing shit up, filming dumb shit, screaming all the time. Like I wouldn't want us as neighbors.
Yeah.
But why I bring this all up is because like come wintertime, like Neighbor Dan had like a thing about him.
Oh no.
And I'm going to put this as the most polite way ever.
Okay.
He was very overweight.
Sure.
Very, very overweight.
Okay.
To the point where whenever Dan would come out to help shovel, there would be this like, Dan, just go inside.
Like, it's okay.
It's okay. We just don't want you having a heart attack.
Right. Or slipping on anything.
Because like.
Just don't.
Let's just not. It's fine. It's fine. There's 4 of us, including Dad. Like, we can handle it.
It's also just one driveway.
And that was the other thing that was like kind of annoyed me as I got older is that everyone else in the neighborhood had these mythical, magical machines called snowblowers.
So they make personal ones. I always kind of thought that was like on like industrial size.
No, they made personal ones.
Or what am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of a snowplow. Sorry.
Snowplows.
Is a snowblower like a leaf blower?
Yeah, but for snow, like big thing, gas engine.
Okay.
Crank that thing, turn it on, just plows through, destroys all the snow.
Pays for the plow.
The city had plows for the roads.
Okay, but everyone owns their own driveway. I mean,
everyone has their own driveway, but you have to take care of your own driveway. But you know, in New Hampshire, especially, like there was obviously a big market for snow blowers, but then also like you could pay people who had the plows on their trucks, and they would come and plow your driveway. Just a little quick. So all of our neighbors had like combinations of people plowing their driveways or snow blowers. My parents
had
for whatever reason were like, we have 3 boys.
They are our snow blowers.
Fuck them. They can plow the goddamn driveway. And this wasn't
with shovels. Like you had big shovels. Yeah.
This wasn't a small
fancy
driveway. This was a steep driveway up a thing with whatever. Like and it would, you know, both houses had 2-car garage. Like it's
Did you wear like boots
driveway.
with like stakes in them and stuff?
No.
What shoes are you wearing to do this?
I mean, because I'm me and I wanted to be cool, I would wear my sneakers sometimes, which was dumb.
I'm gonna wear my Converse.
I was gonna look
cool. What was a cool sneaker in New England for you as like an emo kid?
What are those like thick boots? They're still popular.
Oh, Docs. You had Docs?
I didn't have Docs. I wanted Docs. I still want Docs.
Oh, well then what did you wear?
Whatever my parents got me from Walmart.
Okay. Sure.
You know.
Because I feel like Docs actually would probably be good in the snow.
Probably.
Or somewhat. Anyway,
yeah, somewhat.
Carry on.
But yeah, so you didn't have to suffer with the driveway, you know, and the plowing of the driveway.
Because even when we would go to the snow or do a cabin thing, like essentially we were renting a place out.
And somebody else is going to like clean it for you.
Yeah.
So like imagine you wake up
Sure.
And you see the snow and you're
And
all
like,
like, oh, it's
"Oh,
snow.
it's snowing."
Is the school district going to be like, we're going to close? So you're waiting, you're watching the TV
Yeah.
as they're like ticking through the various districts that are closed.
Oh, on the news.
On the news.
Right.
You're seeing every other motherfucking district
So it's
closed.
district about it, not school specific. I mean, it is,
would
but it's like
be-
district
it depend-
specific.
Like between elementary, middle school, and then high school, they was
Got
all
it.
separate and different.
Okay.
And like they would do weird things where like the district or the school literally right next door would close, but then
But then
your
you
school
wouldn't?
wouldn't. And then
Spicy.
the worst would be because especially like you're young.
Yeah.
All we ever wanted to do as kids was just go back to sleep. And
Oh, of
especially like on a
course.
snow day, you're like, fuck this.
Aw.
So when there was a snow day, there was never like, oh, I can just go back to bed and sleep in because school's canceled.
Sure.
It was if
It
school's
was-
canceled, get your ass outside, start plowing, start cleaning, start putting the salt down, and it wasn't just
Yeah,
the
wait,
driveway.
also, I don't
It's
know what
not
salt,
just
what is salt?
salt is used to help.
Or like, is it big old chunks of salt?
No, it's
Or
just like it's
what does that mean?
It's just salt. It's actual salt.
Table salt.
Not-
Iodized
it's
salt.
Not
Or
table
it's not
salt.
table
It is
salt.
iodized salt.
Oh.
But it's this
Like
type of
special for roads.
yeah. It's
Or,
this type of
a
salt that
amount
will
of
help
salt.
evaporate.
Was it in
the
like
snow.
as big of like bags of like rice bags? It's also
No,
my picture.
way bigger.
Oh. Bigger?
Way bigger, like big ass bags, and you buy this
like
shit and you
bulk.
throw it down after you like clean up the snow, and it
Damn.
helps keep the driveway, melted or whatever.
Well, sure. Anyway, keep going.
Really good
Dang.
for ice
So you're
as well.
out working.
You're out
You're
working.
running
yeah.
the-
Yeah, so you're out. You're plowing the
Sheesh.
driveway. You're plowing the deck because the parents
Oh,
don't
backyard?
want. Oh yeah, they don't want the deck, the porch.
Oh, sure.
You don't want snow sitting on there. It will
It's
rot
wet.
the wood. So you got to clean the fucking deck.
Why do they have wood decks in general then?
I don't know.
Structurally and like
A lot of New Hampshire
environmentally,
like
it
didn't
seems-
make sense to me. Oh, and then you also have to like clear the area where they fill up, and also the deck. Our house,
Yeah.
the deck. There was a not a secret highway, but there was a door, a trap door. That you
Oh, for
have
like the basement?
No, that accessed the oil because we had an oil tanker thing.
What?
So in order to get oil from gasoline for the house, like you have oil delivery. So that entire area needs to be clear. And
You didn't have a what?
yeah,
For your gas stove?
for
You had an oil?
Yeah.
Wait, oil? Wait, no, yeah, not gas. Wait,
Not
what am I
gas,
talking about?
oil, not
the
petroleum
fuck did you use-
petrol or petrol.
For what?
Oil to like heat the house, have hot water.
Oh.
Yes, it was in a big tank that was in the basement.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so you had to make sure the driveway was clear, the stairs were clear and salted so that there's no ice buildup because the individual dropping off the oil, that's a huge liability if they slip and fucking crack their neck. So you had to make sure all of this was good to go. And the worst was multi-day snowstorms because it's not just you're out there once to clean it up.
A day.
You're out there
multiple
3,
times a
4
day.
times because you don't want it to compact and build. Some dumbasses, in my opinion, even if you had a snowplow or a plow, some dumbasses would let it build up to 8 feet of snow. And then
That's dangerous.
Super dangerous. And it's so difficult to like remove it.
Because also, what about build up on your roof and stuff?
Build up on the roof wasn't bad because it's slow.
It could kind of get
slanted,
off.
so it would
like it would fall
off,
eventually.
yeah.
Which again, you had to if it was
Which-
a lot though, you had to make sure you were cleaning that up from the street when it fell.
Yeah, when
or
it
whatever.
fell, it would-
What about icicles?
Icicles were a thing you have to watch out for. Now, I don't think anyone in my family ever got like stabbed or murdered by one. Or
Never looking up at them.
I mean, I would look up,
Of course you would.
especially when you're out there like shoveling. You're like, fuck
You're just like,
this.
take me now, snow.
it out, yeah.
If the snow's gonna take me, let it take
I
me
remember
now.
there was one
crazy.
winter, and I think it was during like Christmas break, so we
Okay.
weren't going to school anyway.
Sure.
Which is the fucking worst because you already
You're
have
literally
the
like,
time
you're literally
off.
like, I want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have the time off
You're like,
anyway.
no, this
I
isn't
want to
even
sleep in.
fun.
But there was one storm that was
What?
because my parents were both working.
Sure.
So they need the driveway clear for them to get in and out.
Oh, man.
So there was one storm that was super, super bad overnight. And my dad had us go out like around 10 to
Yeah.
like try and get rid of as much
Sure.
of the snow as
Of course,
possible.
of course.
But it's like fucking blizzard conditions. And at some point it was just so bad. My mom's like, just leave it. We'll have to do it in the morning because
Sure.
it's dark.
Sure.
Blizzard. And then, the next morning it was like 6-8 feet of snow. And it took us like, I don't know, 3-4 hours to dig that shit out. Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah. I wonder sometimes if my back issue stemmed there because the amount of times I would slip and land on my butt and like my back.
Sure.
So many times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like and like whether or not like everybody who lives in the snow has back issues or not, but it's like if you're predisposed to it
Yeah.
and then you have that lifestyle
Yeah.
routine.
One of the
Shit.
best days ever
I was gonna say, yeah. What are good? There had to be happy stories.
Yeah, there is. There is. I think by the time I got to like,
oh sheesh, I'm like, I'll never do this.
15,
Not that I ever want to.
Maybe
but.
I was like 15 or 16. So my older brother had gone to college.
Oh, sure,
So
sure.
a soldier down. There's only two of us now, and dad. And dad's getting older. You know, soldier down.
So mom never did it.
Mom came out a couple times, but
Okay.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember I finally convinced my parents to go to Costco. I think Costco or whatever the other big
To get a snowblower.
To get a snowblower.
You're like, listen, we need another body, if you will.
Yeah, and basically
Some
how
support.
I sold it. Yeah. So we were able to get a snowblower, and life changing.
Oh, really?
Super life changing because
Do you wear it? Do you wear it kind of like?
No, it's a thing you push.
Oh, it is kind of plowy.
Yeah, so there are various levels.
It's blowing to your.
Yeah, so it's crushing up the snow and then blowing it out.
Okay.
Yeah. I will show you a video at some point because you clearly are like, I don't get it.
I don't fucking get it. Yeah.
But it opened up a whole new slew of problems because unbeknownst to me, there are different, depending on how much you pay for a snowblower, different sizes.
Okay, sure, of course.
Different levels of power.
Okay.
And then also like a car with like power steering and power wheels.
Sure.
You could get a snowblower that just crushes it, but then you're still physically pushing it.
Oh, okay,
and that thing is heavy as fuck.
Kind of like a lawnmower. Like there's
different tiers. Yeah. So we got this one, and it was just like a run of the mill standard one.
Sure.
It didn't have the power wheels.
Sure.
So it was heavy as hell to push.
Oh no.
And in certain situations, like if it's like a
if
couple
it's
couple of inches of snow,
sure,
things usually like it's a pain in the ass. It's quicker to just shovel.
Oh shit.
Right.
Okay.
So I had to keep begging the parents to eventually go get a bigger and a bigger and a bigger. The funniest one that I remember is when I was at college, I came back one winter, during college break, and my dad had gone this massive industrial size, the best of the
one
best.
You've wanted.
Yeah, power, everything, all the cool bells and whistles, and I was like, God damn it.
You couldn't have.
Yeah, you couldn't have done this. This thing was so good it could crush ice.
Oh.
And that was the thing too. As we got older, it became less about the amount of snow,
right? And if it was
more
ice
about
underneath,
the ice and the black ice. Black ice became the silent. I mean, it's called the silent killer.
Oh, for sure.
Where you would, you wouldn't realize the temperature dropped so low, layer of ice, and then a shit ton of snow on top.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
And it was just the biggest pain to break that up.
Oh.
Yeah, so black ice became the bigger problem. And I think even now, they still get lots of snow.
Sure.
But in comparison to how cold it gets and the temperature dropping with the black ice, way worse.
Yeah. Well, because it's also because it's warm or cold. When it goes warm, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold, I would imagine that's really icy.
Yes. Yep. And you can get layers and layers and layers.
How did you, so you're 15 and a half, 16. I mean, when did you in a sense be I got to learn how to drive in snow? And ice.
When you're learning to, so I started driving because
that's young even to. I mean,
because of my age. Yeah. I missed being able to do it as a course or whatever in high school. Sure. So I did night driving class with a bunch of other kids.
Yeah.
And I started that as soon as I turned. I think that was the September.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I think the September
right
just before 16. Yeah. So I started doing it then. So it was still mildly good weather.
Yeah.
So I learned. Totally. And then as soon as I learned.
Turned 16 and
then
get
you
your
gotta
license.
figure it out in the snow. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I think, obviously drive, because I was in New Hampshire and Massachusetts
the cars don't have chains on them all the time.
I was only there 5 years driving wise, 16 to 21. Because when I was 21, I came out to here.
Yeah.
So there was obviously a ton of bad winters in those 5 years. But did not get into any major. The only major accident I got
in the snow
was I think it's the nor'easter of 20.
The what?
Nor'easter. So a nor'easter is a massive cold front storm. That's what they're called.
Before. At what time of the year? Or just any time? It's just a nor'easter.
This winter. This is I think this happened in November or December.
Okay.
It's still on record the worst nor'easter New England faced. Multiple states went state of emergency. Tons of people died from it. They were finding old people frozen to death in their homes. It was really bad.
Oh, fuck.
So I was in college. So I think this is 2008.
Okay.
So the nor'easter of 2008. Sure. From my perspective, it starts I think on a Wednesday. News programs and everyone's there's a big nor'easter coming this weekend, and this is just before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If you can get home early, get home. And then I think that night, the campus, it got so cold and icy, a car fell off the road, slammed into a pole, and blew a transformer out on the campus.
Oh, shit.
So the campus lost power
Dark,
for
yeah.
a night. That was intense.
Oh, my
And then the
God.
next day, the state has started the Massachusetts declared state of emergency.
Yeah.
And the school was like, we're closing down early. Everyone go home. So we drove home. And then by the time I got to my parents, they had already lost power. And they end up staying at a friend's who had a backup generator, like
Sure,
a
of
gasoline
course,
generator.
yeah.
But the house, they tried like one night, but it was too cold. Like it was so cold, you
Aw.
couldn't stay warm. So they stayed at a friend's for a bit, and then because everybody was kind of unprepared for this nor'easter, nobody had generators, so there's price gouging on
Oh,
generators.
so people usually get a generator before kind of the winter or whatnot or
Well,
something.
up until that point of living in New Hampshire, my parents had never thought to get a generator because winters had never been so bad that you'd lose that power for that
Okay.
long.
Sure.
So they
Sure,
tried.
sure.
They
Okay,
got
okay,
a generator, tried that whole thing. Unless your house is like crazy insulated and whatever,
Right.
generator's only going to go so far.
Totally.
But that nor'easter, it was so bad. Damn. My parents didn't have power, I think, for like 2.5, almost 3 weeks. My school got power back, and the school opened up earlier.
Yep.
And said, like, come back. So, like, I remember me and my younger brother went back, and he stayed with me in my dorm.
Yeah.
I forget what my older brother did. And then my parents just stayed at, like, a friend's.
Yeah.
Because they still had to work.
Yeah.
Which was also, like, the crazy thing, too, is, like, jobs still
So crazy.
had to be open. And then eventually everything got kicked back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was nuts. That's when I was, like... That's when I think the idea started in my head of, like, I can't stay in this state.
I'm gonna go.
This state's fucked. Because after that, it just got worse.
I mean, the whole East Coast. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
the space of like, I'm going to go somewhere that ideally.
Like, did you ever see the movie The Day After Tomorrow?
No.
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
No.
It's where, like, the crazy superstorm comes.
No.
And, like
a winter storm.
Winter storm, it freezes majority of the earth.
Oh, no.
It's a big,
Jeez
like,
Louise.
climate change movie.
Well, sure.
That nor'easter
what's
felt
happening.
like that movie.
Damn.
With, like, how, like...
Crazy it was.
Apocalyptic it felt.
Right. And just like otherworldly. You're like, this
can't
is not,
do anything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's winter.
That is
sucks.
winter.
It sucks.
It sucks. Can you go to the snow now and like find enjoyment in it? Or do you think this like snow and just like anything is like, no,
I only find enjoyment in it for like a couple days.
Yeah, sure.
Like maybe 2-3 days max.
Sure.
And then I'm just like, this is stupid. I'm cold. It's wet. It's
Yeah.
gross. I hate this. Yeah.
I'd like to just be not cold
Yeah.
or freezing.
I mean, I complain about the heat like all the time.
Yes.
But I think at the end of the day, I would prefer heat over the cold.
Over that intensive cold.
Yeah, because the cold, like, it hurts your bones. Like,
does.
it gets in there and then it's there. And, like,
And then kind of the essence of like, I think there's something also like in heat, you can like get colder. You can like find ways to cool down.
Mm-hmm.
Not, it's not always perfect and it's not always as cold as you want or something for even in AC or whatnot. But the space of like in the cold, you have to, that space of like you have to go out and work in it or like to do anything you're trying to get warm. And you really, you could obviously also overheat, but you can get frostbite and shit. Like that's a real deal.
Winter is not fun.
Crazy.
Yeah, so when winter rolls around, like you do all these like crazy changes.
Yeah.
It's not just the time where the days are shorter.
Yeah.
You're also like prepping your car, you're prepping your driveway, you're prepping your house.
Yeah.
And if you're not used to that, like remember the first couple of years when we first moved to New Hampshire.
Because England didn't have it that crazy.
England did not have winters that bad.
Yeah.
And like it was definitely like a struggle for my parents to be like, okay, this is what we need to be doing. Like you need like a checklist essentially.
Totally.
And then every year something new will like break.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, oh, well, gotta add that for next year.
You gotta try and get it done before the winter comes and everyone either price gouging happens and or everybody needs a person to come out and fix
I
your
know
house.
like a lot of the houses now are being built with backup generators, like
Sure,
backup
of
systems and
course.
things
Of course.
because the grid's not reliable.
Fair.
I mean, same
Fair,
thing
fair.
kind of happened in Texas because they privatized
Yeah, they
their
did.
fucking grid.
They sure did.
And both in the summer
Yep.
and the winter, they've had crazy outages.
Uh-huh.
It's just,
It's nuts.
yeah.
Okay, but like what are like fun memories in the snow? Aside from getting the snowblower one time. Or talking to your parents into getting a snowblower. Like are there any like fun, like we got a day off of school, let's go play, like do snowmen in the yard or
I think when we were younger, like in middle school,
Yeah.
because the snow wasn't that bad. to
And that
remove.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
As we got older, the winters
snow-
got
right,
worse.
yeah, totally.
And there was more and more snow.
Yeah.
And it just
And you had to do more. Like
And
you
you
were
had to
put
do
into more
more.
responsibility.
Yep.
Right. It's like, yeah, life gets like a bit more real. But like
Yeah.
as a kid, it was like, ooh.
Snow days were definitely cool.
Yeah.
And then again, though, like the realization of like, oh, I'm going to be in school in
Yeah.
summer was
Yeah.
not cool.
I mean, like, so like in living on the West Coast now, like people who I know from the East Coast also like oftentimes will shit on us Californians or whatever for not having seasons or all the things or whatever. But like, do you miss seasons in some fashion or like the space of like that feel like at all?
It's weird because like I've been in LA, what now, 13 years or something.
Yeah.
And I will say like, I didn't see as many seasons when I first got here.
Sure.
As time has gone on and things have gotten worse.
Yes.
Like temperature wise and weather wise, I can now definitely tell you when we're in different seasons.
Sure. Of course. Yeah.
It's weird. Like in the October time period,
Yeah.
you know, it goes from very, very hot to suddenly it's freezing cold.
Sure. Totally.
And there isn't like, and
There's not really a fall.
there's not a fall. Like, and
Yeah.
our winters here are obviously not as bad as the rest of the country.
No.
They just get really, really cold.
Yeah.
And then we hit the raining season,
Totally.
which is still considered part of winter.
Yep.
And
it
then
is.
we hit spring and then extreme heat.
Totally.
And then we repeat again.
Totally.
So we do have seasons here.
Yeah.
They've become harsher, I think.
Well, everybody's seasons are getting harsher.
Yeah, in terms of the shift.
Yeah.
Is now more obvious.
Yeah,
but when I
yeah.
first got here, no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I remember.
Wait, did you miss that? But did you miss seasons?
I think for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I love this.
Right. You're like, wait, actually.
This is great.
Yeah. I want a 75 day any day.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like I remember, in January, February, it was when I moved here, and there were like 75
Right. You're like,
days.
why are we complaining about
Yeah,
this?
but we don't have that anymore.
Not really.
Yeah, those
No.
are far and few.
Yeah. But it still is sunny out.
It definitely is sunny
in November. But
yeah.
Yeah. Dang. So you knock my socks off because the stories are in there, but like you don't have any like.
There's nothing like positive about it.
Come on, find me. Give me a.
No,
Damn.
it's one of those things where like
Because it just was such a part of life
It's
versus
such a part of life.
versus
Yeah.
a magical
Yeah.
this one-off story.
I
that
would
have.
imagine it's like if you talk to like a local in Hawaii.
Right.
Where they're like,
Right.
you're like, oh my
"You were by
God,
the
you're in
beach all the
paradise.
time."
Yeah,
Yeah.
da da da. It's like, well, yeah.
like-
But then there's also like the hardships of like the hurricanes.
Right.
The over
Tidal
tourism.
waves or something. Yeah, I don't know.
all that
Shit.
stuff.
Yeah, no,
Like,
for sure.
Same with like California, I think.
I
like,
mean, right.
People
You
are like,
talk to
oh,
us.
you got perfect weather. And it's like, well, we have the
Right.
windy season.
Or
with
like
the
you all
crazy
live by the beach.
rain.
We're like, none of us live by the beach.
Yeah. Or the extreme fire season
Yeah.
that we enter.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's all trade-offs for sure.
It is.
Like, I'm
100%.
sure like with you up in, Northern California,
Yeah.
you had somewhat extreme things happening.
For sure.
Not crazy, I would imagine, but.
Yeah, but for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we had way more seasons in a sense than Southern California has,
Mm-hmm.
and like the ability to see like the leaves changing colors and all that stuff. But yeah, we had crazy weather, but we didn't have earthquakes.
Oh my
that is
God,
kinda
the
nice.
leaves were another pain in the ass.
You had to rake leaves.
Had to fucking rake leaves.
Yeah.
And like our backyard was it was a forest.
Right, which is lovely.
No.
But
Do you know how many times I wish I could have burned the stupid thing down?
Oh,
So many
geez.
times.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there was at one point a tree right next to the house fell. Thankfully, it didn't hit the
Damn.
house.
Yeah, sure,
It
sure.
hit the neighbor's house. Didn't hit our house.
Dan's
But-
house, neighbor Dan.
No,
Oh,
other
not that neighbor.
neighbor.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But that tree in particular, I was glad it fell because that one would just sprinkle leaves all over the deck.
Oh, so that
And again, parents like
A
can't
job.
have leaves on the deck.
right. The children will sweep. This
Sweep
makes
the deck.
sense. 100%.
Hated that deck
Damn.
too.
Well,
I get like PTSD from decks.
I know. How do you feel? How do you feel right now in general about talking about winter? Are you just like, oh yeah, fuck that?
Fuck winter.
Yeah,
I much prefer the winters here.
totally.
Like
totally.
all I need to do for winters here is like just prepare for the wind season.
Sure.
To lock things down.
Sure.
For rain, just make sure the drains aren't clogged and
Yep.
have good drainage, and you're good to
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So much easier.
Uh-huh. It is though.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have to prepare our houses and our pipes and our drains.
I will
and
say though, like
the freezing stuff.
I will say like because of California
Okay.
and because of our extreme heat,
Sure.
fire, and lack of water.
Yes.
I was kind of bummed, like with my place. Like I have a driveway. I could have a lawn, and I've always like growing up was like, oh, it would be cool to have my own
Mowing
and snow blower and
yeah.
stuff. But like, I don't have it. There's no need for that, obviously. Thank God.
No,
so,
there's not.
but I am kind of like, oh, it would be cool. Like now that we're doing this, I kind of want to like, look at what how far snowplow technology has come.
Just to research it.
Yeah.
Just to learn.
Like, because I have seen like there are like Roomba versions of snowplows.
Oh, like you can program it.
Yeah, program a robot to just go out and plow.
Look at you're excited about that now.
That's cool.
That is
That's super cool.
Listen, as a kid, you'd be like, Mom, Dad, I have a PowerPoint for you. I'm gonna pitch this thing because if I can get the robot to do it and I don't have to do it, why not?
They also have like leaf blower robots that would just go and clean up with like all robots. Like it's so like fascinating.
You are pro robot.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Go for it.
Solve my minor inconvenience in this moment.
Back issues.
Yeah.
I'm still convinced this is how my back issue started.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's always probably a good concoction of things that make things happen. But dang. Well,
but I didn't tell you about the accident. Yeah, the one snow-related accident. Sorry.
Okay, we got way off topic.
Yeah, it actually happened.
It happened on that drive back to your parents.
No, so it happened in the 2008 nor'easter.
Right.
So after my school got power back and said they can come back to the school.
Oh, come back. I
I packed up my mom's car.
Sure.
From our house. It's pitch black.
At night?
At night.
Oh, geesh.
And for some reason, I reversed the car too quickly, right into neighbor Dan's wife's car.
Luckily, she's not in it.
She's not in it. And just bust my mom's rear bumper. Just destroyed it.
Because it was icy? Or just
no,
it was you? That was a user error.
User error. I don't know what happened.
Dang.
And like the neighbors were super cool about it. They're like, it's fine. Like, because her car was fine. And mom's bumper was just fucking destroyed.
You just had to pay for it.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember. Yeah. But
yeah,
that was the only accident in a winter period that I've gotten into. Yeah.
That's intense.
Very.
But like not because of winter, except kind of for the sake
of
you were there. You wouldn't have been there if it wasn't. But luckily no one got hurt.
I mean, I guess there was another.
See, they're coming.
There was another one.
Out.
So I was driving my dad. My dad had a Ford Windstar as like the family car. It was a minivan.
Of course.
And I don't know why I took his car. I think my car was in the shop. It was after my bigger accident that I had. So my car was in the shop.
Sure.
So my dad let me borrow his minivan.
Yeah.
And and this is during winter, and I'm working at the Burlington Mall. So this is when I was working at the Apple store. I'm running late. And the parking is crazy because everyone's shopping.
Sure.
And I I see a spot finally after like searching forever. And I go and I turn, and the ground's all ice and mushy or whatever, and I overcorrect, and I end up accidentally scraping a Jaguar car with my dad's Ford thing.
You're out here in LA?
This is in
in college still.
Burlington.
Oh, Burlington. I don't know what I thought I heard. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Burlington, Massachusetts.
Okay, okay.
This is like 2009 or something. Yeah.
I see.
But because of the snow, like I overcorrect my turn. And just scratch the fucking thing. Yeah.
Did you leave a note?
No, I spoke to the person.
The person was in the car?
Yeah. No, the person was somehow walking back to their car.
Oh, shit. What did you have to do? Just swap
trade
insurance?
Insurance information, then call my dad. And, my father was very much like silent on the phone. And that's when you fucked up big time. And I was like,
sure.
This is going to be the worst shift in my life.
I'm going to be sitting here stressed and sweating.
Yeah. So that was that one. Yeah. So those two.
Okay.
That I can remember.
But luckily not, I mean, you're moving the car, you're driving the cars, but like no one else in it.
Nobody else got hurt.
Like,
I didn't get hurt. So all things considered,
aesthetic
cosmetic
issues.
damages.
Cosmetic. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I bet insurance people make a lot of money.
Yes.
In snow.
Well, I'm sure in general,
cities.
Insurances are more expensive.
Yeah.
On these, I mean, anywhere there's weather. Okay, here's a question that I have for you too, though. Is one of my I grew up in California, but I lived for a bit of time in New Orleans, and so like whenever you're in a place that has inclement weather as a part of their system and community, if you will, or city, having hurricanes, like when it was hurricane season, there was also like this really, at least for me, compared to California, a really different sense of community, though. Kind of maybe like the story you're telling about your neighbor Dan, which is kind of like, hey, we're looking out for you too. Like, we'll help do this thing. Whereas in California, I think because we don't have as many of these like big weather things or like kind of, acts of God or whatever they call them, that are like that take everybody out as a community, kind of like no matter who you are, like in California, we're able to further stay kind of in this individual thinking.
Yeah.
Because we don't have those. Whereas like, it really sucks to have lived through hurricanes and like or tropical storms, even all this stuff. But at the same, like on the flip side, it allowed for like some really beautiful spaces of community. Did you find that like by going through winters and
the
stuff?
town that we lived
college,
in,
even all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, the town we lived in was fairly small.
Yeah.
So like everyone did help each other out.
Yeah.
Like there were many times that we would go and help other neighbors clear their driveway.
Yeah.
Other neighborhood kids would help us clear driveways and things. So definitely community aspect there.
Yeah.
And then also like with my parents, when there was the nor'easter, like their friends offering up their place to the generator.
Right. They're just like, listen, like, we got to keep people warm or safe.
There was definitely like a look out for your neighbor type thing.
Yeah.
Because the government wasn't going to.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
And like, there's that importance of like, well, then we got to do it for each other,
I mean,
which I respect, I guess.
Yeah.
Like as a person, again, kind of having been coming from California, like there's a space where I was like, oh wow, like people are really looking out for each other. Like this is actually a really cool, community building moment. And like, getting out sandbags, like making sure people were good through hurricanes was like, we're all scared or like, being as conscious as possible of like how to prepare, but like also like very caring for each other, which was cool.
I
guess
like to think
so
like, at least in my neighborhood where I am now, I would like to think that we would look out for each other, but thankfully it hasn't been a reason to like check on that. Right. But I would hope. But yeah, I mean, I think that is a good call out. There's one big difference.
Yeah. And it's like, that doesn't mean that I like, I mean, again, in California, we have earthquakes and stuff. So it's like there are acts of God that are way beyond our control and stuff like that. And, when those happen, like you do like text your people you care about like around you. But yeah, I would also hope that like, if things were to happen that like Californians would come together. But I do think it was very interesting living somewhere else and being like, oh, this feels actually dramatically different than California kind of. And like noting the beauty of kind of like the almost like in a weird way, like level setting that like natural disasters in some fashion, like bring people together. It's a common enemy or if anything, which is a weird way to put it, but like, it's kind of this, like it did do that, which is what was always interesting to me. Not something again that I wish for California or wish for anybody. It's like, I wish that things weren't as extreme around the globe, but in California we are relatively, or quite privileged, but like, I think we're relatively on a somewhat of a clock as to how much longer it'll be for us even, but like, it's a space where I hope
the big one's coming.
But I really do hope that like, if or whenever that happens, that like Californians can come together because I do think the community space is actually pretty cool. Yeah. Like to kind of like be like, well, we're all going through it together. So
it all sucks. Nobody's got power.
All sucks. Exactly. Kind of just like it all sucks. I mean, kind of in the dramatic wording of it of a common enemy, but kind of the space of like, well,
I like that common enemy being the weather.
We make it through together.
Isn't it the Democrats though that they have the weather machine?
Oh my God. Okay. I think it's Disneyland actually are more talking about.
They have a weather machine? Oh my God. Who has the weather machine?
The Floridians out there. They're trying to make it happen.
Oh, geez.
But yeah.
Well,
nuts.
I hope I knocked your socks off a little.
You did. I'm grateful to live here. It makes me further grateful to not have to shovel snow and, be able to wake up and even though it's chilly and I complain that I'm wearing, a hoodie and definitely not hoodie weather. I'm like, it's November. I'm going to wear a hoodie, out of spite rather than out of necessity. It's 76 degrees
right now.
Yeah, see? So. I feel like, further grateful. So that's knocked my socks off, I'd say.
Awesome. Well, there you go. As always, you can find us on youtube.com/KYSO podcast. On TikTok, same thing, KYSO podcast. New pods every Saturday. Till then, if you're in a place that requires snow, lift with your legs.
Truly. And get a snowblower.
And get a snowblower if you have kids. They will love you forever.
Truly.